So today's question, we're going to be looking at how does commercial property compare to residential, Xavier? Because my background is residential. Investors that I speak to tend to fall either on one camp or the other. They're a big fan of commercial or a big fan of residential. So how do they kind of compare in maybe a head-to-head in certain aspects?
Well, I think the answer is to have both. I wouldn't be. Residential's got fantastic characteristics, and one of the fantastic things that Property Partners does is it gives you access to that market and takes the headache out of it. So Rob and his colleagues and the whole team, deal with all the regulatory issues and all the debt and selecting the right properties and producing this fabulous return, and without the hassle of management. I'd be a big fan of that.
Yep.
As for commercial, it's a completely different kind of income. It's more income than capital appreciation. As I said before, we got lovely long leases. By selecting the right properties and often indexed income. You've got a thing with commercial property which is called the full repairing and insuring lease. So you've got no management issues. I mean, they're responsible for the entire envelope of the building. As far as the landlord's concerned, he arranges the insurance and the tenant pays for it, and any other kind of common repairs. That's all written into the lease, and the tenant picks up those costs. They're fully aware of it. The rent reflects it, and so your income is triple net. So you know what you're going to get, and you can plan it then for over a period of years.
Smoother.
And that's a great adjunct to everything else you're doing.
Okay, and then the commercial aspect, my understanding is the values are mainly driven by the yields and the income.
I think if you look at it over time, the main driver for the return is the income, and then it's topped up with the improvement in the capital value over time. So sometimes you get a great win because you select the right area, and that area is improving, and other people moving into the area, and there's growth in the town or the area of London or wherever it is, and you get a consequent increase in that. Or the institutions decide that this is an area that we really should be into. Heavy money comes in and drives the capital value, which is what's happened to distribution warehouses.
You have to try and spot those opportunities prior to those institutional investors.
You can do that, but you don't necessarily have to. I mean, I think if you're selecting something like convenience stores, I think the bulk of the return is going to be income and through indexed rents. And it's a sector where there's continued demand from the tenants. And there's tremendous competition amongst the tenants. So you can imagine that once people are once you've got a company in a particular location, there's a good following for it. You can bet that that's going to be repaid in terms of its location and attractiveness as an investment.
So that old adage of kind of location.
That's
same for residential and commercial.
it's exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.